Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of the Elder Scrolls II Daggerfall. In the last episode we went and did a couple missions for in the main quest. We did a mission for Stendasa where we had to go and basically kill a werewolf. We found out later that that werewolf was her brother, and in turn for that we believe we probably can now go talk to Mynisera, who is, I want to correct something I previously stated in a previous episode because I gotten relationships mixed up. Mynisera is King Lysandus' wife and the current King of Daggerfall's mother. So I misquoted something along in relationships, so that is that relationship. And then we went and we did Soul of a Lich for the King of Worms, where we had to go into Castle Sentinel and kill or basically dispose of the lich of a prince or sentinel and return it to the King of Worms. And when we did that, the King of Worms told us that the Underking is the long lost, not long lost, but the long, ever roaming soul of the Imperial battle mage that Tiber Septim had betrayed many, many centuries ago. So today's episode, I think we should probably go on ahead and travel back to down here in Daggerfall, and now go speak to Mynisera now that we've done the missions for Stendasa, as we hear moaning. And where did we come in? We came in on the west side, so not too bad. We just have to travel a little bit over this way. So I'm really hoping we can maybe see an actual ghost, because we've heard them, but we've not actually seen any actually appear here in town yet. So hopefully we will, but there's no outright guarantee we will. Again, one of the things I mentioned is one of the things I'm loving about so far the main series is the difference in architecture between the Daggerfall region, the Sentinel region, and the Wayrest region. And again, Daggerfall has by far and away the worst castle in my opinion, but yeah, all of these, I really like the different textures, or not textures, but the way that different things look, and then the layout. There's enemies nearby. Great, where's an enemy? Awesome, we finally get a ghost. Okay, hi ghost, goodbye ghost. But there's the map button. In Sentinel, the layout of towns looks completely different than it does in Daggerfall or even Wayrest, and I think that's really kind of a cool little design aesthetic that they decided to implement between the games. So that's a huge building. What is that building? Oh, it's some kind of a store. Interesting. I don't think we've really came across super tall buildings. So let's go on ahead and go in here and talk to Mynisera. And we're going to have to unfortunately talk to the doorkeeper again, because every time we come in here, we have to just confirm I'm not going to kill anybody. Alright, now, that is locked. Where is Mynisera at? A small heraldic device above the door handle clearly marks this as private chambers. Okay. I will not go in there again. This is where that person that we dealt with earlier. Can't you see I'm busy and I'm not in a good mood? I might add, if you don't leave now, there could be trouble. Is that what you want? No. Didn't think so. You would say yes anyway. Now be gone with yourself. Okay, well, fine. Do you have anything to say? No, do you have anything to say? I need someone to bring an item of contact, an item to a contact of mine in Murham Heath. You will receive an item in return. If you bring that item back to me, I'll be happy to reward you with, that is just a generic noble quest. Am I a pacified archer using etiquette skill? Are people angry at me currently? I don't think they should be. That's locked. What's this way? Where is Mynisera currently located? No. I thought Mynisera should be back here at the dungeon, or the castle. Oh, okay, it was in this door, excuse me. Hi, people are angry at me, so you need to talk fast. Hello, Vassip. I have heard much about you. Now come to me with a very, you come to me with a very interesting tale of deception. So, Stendasa the maid says that Abka-I opened a letter from the Emperor addressed to me. I can tell you, Vassip, that she never delivered such a letter to me. I would like you to investigate this further, Vassip. It could be dangerous to poke into the affairs of Abka-I without enraging King Gothrid, even though he is my own son. Are you willing? Yes. Good. I've long had my suspicions about Opka Ai's loyalty to the Emperor. She's a daughter of the late King Cameron, who ruled Hammerfell from his citadel and sentinel. My husband, King Lysandus, Kennerith rest his soul, died at Crungane, as did King Cameron. Lysandus's body was not recovered, so he's a monument erected there rather than a true tomb. Ah, my mind wanders. The Emperor uses Gwenoria Greenfield as his messenger in Daggerfall. She could be anywhere in the region delivering missives. However, Gwenoria Greenfield is a member of the Knights of the Dragon. Go to the Masterford residence in Charway Rock and ask for Tristector Buckinghart. He may know where to find Gwenoria Greenfield. Try to find out why a letter addressed to me was delivered to Opka Ai. Done. Okay, I need to just go on ahead and skedaddle because people are angry at me that I went and talked to you, so just pardon me for just a brief moment as I... Can I leave? Or okay, I can't leave. Okay, so I just had to escape the... I'm not getting halted, am I? I don't hear a halt. I don't see a halt. Okay. So, Mynisera, Queen Mother of Togothrid, has asked me to investigate why a letter from the Emperor addressed to her ended up in the hands of Queen Opka Ai. The Emperor's messenger, Gwenoria Greenfield, can only be reached through Tristector Buckinghart of Charway Rock. Both are members of the Knights of the Dragon. She's given me a signet ring to prove my trustworthiness to them. Alright, so let's go on ahead and travel, I would say, to, Charway Rock. So, Charway Rock. There we go. It's about, probably say, a day travel. Yeah, it's not too bad. How big of a town? Decently sized town. Okay, we're looking for a person. Hopefully, hopefully people want to be kind and help us along our journey. Hello, miss. Can you tell me where, the, Tristector Buckinghart is? So you got no clue? Perfectly understandable. Thank you for at least being nice in your you know, knowledge of not knowing. What about you? Simple. You'll find it that way north. So north. Okay, we'll continue to go north then. So we've got roughly about half the town left. Well, hold on. Let me show you the Masterford residence on your map. Oh, thank you. Oh, it's just right here. Great. Let's go on ahead and get in there. I doubt we're probably going to have to bring our sword out, so let's not. Hello? You up here in the attic? Nope, never are. That's gonna be a closet. Nope, that's the door out. That's not what I wanted. That should be a closet. It is a closet. Both of these are viable options. Oh, here you are. Hello, good sir. I am Tristector Buckinghart. I would not normally tell anyone who is not a Knight of the Dragon where to find Gwenoria Greenfield. However, I am loyal to Queen Mynisera. I also know that Gwenoria Greenfield disemboweled the last person that tried to ambush her. In 26 days, she is due to be at the palace in Kirkcartwood. Try there. In 26 days, she is due to be at the palace. Okay, so 26 days from now is when? The 25th of mid-year. I think each day has 30 days in the Elder Scrolls worlds, so we'll figure it out. We'll go to so Kirkcartwood are one of our most traveled to places. It's definitely top 10 of most traveled to places. And the palace. Oh, we did not get. We got a pretty bad spawn. We got the south side of the. Oh, no, thank you. Any person from Dark Trainers will be persecuted to the full extent of the law. King Gothred. Well, Dark Trainers is the Dark Brotherhood, or is a faction of the Dark Brotherhood, or at least a loose associate with the Dark Brotherhood. So I need to be careful about that because I am a member. Additionally, one of the things I really wish they would have recognized is the fact that I am a member of the Knights of the Dragon. So that guy said, oh, I would never tell this to somebody who's not a member of the Knights of the Dragon, but I am a member of the Knights of the Dragon. It'd be nice if the game could recognize, you know, that fact and you know, give me a bonus. But, you know, not... It'd be nice, but, you know, not, I guess, world-ending or world-altering, to say the least. Okay, we are going the correct way. I was like, am I just going the complete opposite way if I need to go? No. Alright. And the entrance to Kirkcartwood is actually... Nope, it's this way. It's the other town that we come in on that has the palace at the other side. It's what? It's 4? Oh, we closed 19 minutes ago. Okay, well then let's just rest here for, I don't know, 16 hours, and eventually it'll be open again. We'll probably get attacked, I would imagine, a couple times. Yeah. Goodbye, vampire. And people seem to just disappear from the streets. We've got another attack. Excuse me, thank you. I need to be a little wary that I do have very limited magic now, so okay, excuse me. Goodbye to you. I do have very limited magicka, so I need to be a little. You drop to the ground. Okay, as long as I don't die, I'll be happy to take a penalty to stamina. Okay. I need to speak to somebody, possibly today, but also within maybe a few, like 25 more days. That is not who I need to speak to. Okay, they could theoretically also be in this room, but they're not. You're not here either. In 25 days. Okay, so it's actually going to show up on my map when that person should be at Kirkhartwood, but I'm just going to confirm that they're not the person I need. That's not what I needed. Okay, just do a clear full a full clear real quick, and then yeah, there's nobody. Okay, that's fine. We can wait here. Well, we'll actually go wait in a we'll take a nap in a tavern over here, and then we'll do our normal traveling, basically, in order just to get rid of, you know, vast amounts of time, and then we'll make our way back over here to Kirkhartwood. Hello, gentlemen, one and all. I need a day, thank you. I just need to take a tiny little, I need a tiny little nap, thank you, until fully healed. I don't need to rest more than that, and then we'll just travel on the world map until no, not that button, until 24 days are up, or roughly that. So, let's go out here to Dwinin, and travel here to, that's not going to be enough time. Let's travel over here to, Blackberry. No, that's going to be way too much time. How much travel is it going to be here? 7? Really? It takes that much time to... 9, 14, that's gonna be too much time. 13 will be too many times. 11, that should be okay. Let's go to Stockwood, and then travel back here to Kirkhartwood. Kirkhartwood. Another 11 days, and it should be... No, not wrong button. Now it's 3 days time. Okay, I can actually wait 3 days in a tavern. That's not as bad. We did come in on the east side of town. So here's what I'm going to do. I will be back after we rest for 3 days, and I'll be back once we are at the palace talking to the person named Gwenoria Greenfield. Alright, today is the day that this person should be here at the palace, so hopefully everything is good to go. That's not who we need, though. Yes, hello, you're who I'm supposed to talk to. Ho, you should be warned that I am a Knight of the Dragon in the service of the Emperor himself. If this is some ruse to ambush me, you will surely not live to regret it. Well, first off, I'm also a Knight of the Dragon. Thank you very much, and I'm also in the service of the Emperor himself. Thank you very much. Yes, I am Gwenoria Greenfield. This signet ring proves that you are indeed in the service of Mynisera. Some time ago, I delivered a letter to the Emperor addressed to the Queen of Daggerfall. If I am not mistaken, Apka I is Queen of Daggerfall, not Mynisera. Tell Mynisera that I take my duties quite seriously. I would never knowingly deliver a missive to the wrong party. Queen Apka I gave me this bracelet in gratitude. Show it to Mynisera so that she may know that I am a loyal servant and faithful to my order. Great. So we get to go on ahead and travel on back to Daggerfall, and it seems like that person did technically deliver the letter correctly to the Queen of Daggerfall. It was just that, yeah, that Apka I was the queen at the time. If I'm getting my... No, it would have, because I think at the beginning of the series, wasn't it that, wasn't it at the beginning of the series that that the Emperor Uriel Septim VII said, some years ago, I sent a letter. So, granted, this could be a few years out. The ghost could have been haunting this area for a couple of years. Maybe it's not within the last couple of weeks that this king Lysandus has died. Maybe it's been a little while longer. So maybe this does work all timeline wise. I'm not 100% certain, but one thing we do know for certain is that Upka, again, if I'm mispronouncing it, I apologize. I don't know pronunciations of a lot of these names. Seems like she intercepted the letter unintentionally because it was supposed to go to Mynisera, but it is where. Okay, we came in on the side of town we don't normally come in at, so I was a little turned around. I'm like, am I going to the entrance or am I going to the side of the castle? I'm going to the entrance, correct. Alright, let's go in here, break in, and we're going to have to eventually leave again because the guards are going to get angry at me. Hello, yes, I'm definitely not going to break into this room right here below the stairs in order to talk to somebody. Yeah, just quickly, hi. Ah, now it makes sense. Uriel Septim addressed the message to the Queen of Daggerfall when he sent it. I was queen. By the time it arrived, my dear Lysandus was dead, and Upka was queen. We must find out what was in that letter. I have never trusted Upka. Yesterday, I received a letter from Princess Morgaya of Wayrest claiming to know something of the Emperor's letter. Now there is a family that seethes under the rule of the Emperor. Return to me if you find out who has the Emperor's letter. For now, you have proven yourself to me, Vasa. Keep the bracelet as a token of my gratitude. I have no desire to own anything of Upka anymore. I believe we got something from Princess Morgaya from her quest, but I'm going to quickly, before we talk to her again, I'm going to quickly go over there and, excuse me, just pardon me, I'm going to quickly go talk to Morgaya again over here at Wayrest just to confirm that there's not additional dialogue that opens up, and if there's not, I will be back when we're talking to Mynisera. Alright, I'm back. I talked to the princess and she had nothing to add. However, I did briefly look because, again, as I previously said in another episode, that the way the main quest works is not like Arena, where you go to Dungeon X, get map for Dungeon Y, go to Dungeon Y to get one of the 8 pieces of the staff that you need to kill the final boss. The way that the quests work in Daggerfall are a little bit more intertwined, and basically because of that, if you do quests, because they're not set in a certain order, they're just certain prerequisite quests that need to be met for other quests to open up. However, if you do certain quests, it locks other quests that are on a different branch, or theoretically on a different branch, out. And so because of that, I'm having to be very particular on the path I'm choosing while still trying to maintain spoiler-free. So I'm using from the UESP kind of like there's a little tiny kind of like an image where it lists like all the interconnections. And so for me to go back and talk to Mynisera would open a quest that would lock me out theoretically of a quest before it. So we're going to hold off on doing that quest for the time being. So, but while we're here, let's, I guess, do a little bit more exploration of this castle. We've not really been here. Can we go all the way in here without taking people off? I'd assume so. Oh, it's a whole different area. Coppersley, Bedector Kingsley, Cariths. Okay, hello. Prince Helseth. You're a moody little guy. In fact, you're so moody, I might keep you as a thumbnail picture. Great, perfect. Let's talk to you, Prince Helseth. I need a courier, Vasa, but no common jelly-armed, gas-headed pox of a mercenary will do. I have a letter of utmost importance, to be delivered to a high dignitary who will be defended against unwelcome intrusion. In return for this, I will not only reward you with a short shirt, but also put you in positive word with you for the King and Queen of Wayrest. But I will give you some information on the affair with Daggerfall. I doubt you would receive elsewhere. Does this sound like an agreeable arrangement? Let me quickly check to see if this is a noble quest or if this is something that's related in relation to the main story. All right, I checked. This is something related to the main story, so we are going to go ahead and accept it. Yes. Excellent. Meet me here this time tomorrow, and I will give you the letter and the name of the location of the recipient. Okay. Well, I probably then need to actually leave said, current location just for the time being. I doubt I can actually just wait in here 24 hours. But I can just kind of go up here and wait 24 hours, so just excuse me for a brief moment while I wait. All right, it's been 24 hours. Let's go ahead and go back in here and talk to Prince Emo over here, kind of. You are like the saddest looking person I've seen in this game so far. Okay, Prince, are you ready? Hello again, Vasa. Here's the letter. It is to be given to Lord Castellian, the head of the Elder Council, who is currently at his house in Hawkwing Residence in the Ashford Farmstead. I need the letter delivered and you back here in no later than 3 days. That is essential. Like I mentioned before, Lord Castellian values his privacy to an excess. Be prepared for some resistance at your arrival in the Hawkwing residence. I would ask that you not read the letter, as it is for private correspondence. If word of its contents gets out, I will blame you. Well, hold on, just give me a second. Prince, start. Is it cheesy? Yes. Do I want the lore? Absolutely. My dear Lord Castellian, sorry about the necessity of delivering this letter by the roughest possible service, but it would be unthinkable to approach you at the castle on such a delicate matter. I have long admired your loyalty to the crown and neutrality in internal affairs. Understand that I only want to save your dignity from possibly embarrassing scenario. The problem rests in your sister, the Lady Pacifa, who, though she resides abroad, still communicates regularly with the members of the court. I understand and respect the depth of your sibling love and affection for one another, for in response to a curious inquiry of mine, Lady Pacifa, that is a name that's not coming easy to me, sent me several touching letters I pinned in your hand. Have you ever espied with delight a red berry half drowned in cream? So I dreamed of you, my dearest love, pouring my soul into you, sweet, for your touch, dear, my soul is quite forfeit. While you and I know the innocence of your fondness for the lady, the more prurient mind at court are, as you are aware, are inclined toward grotesque misinterpretation. Her husband, I understand, is famous for his jealous rages. I'm of several minds on this matter, how to best avoid possible negative reaction, and would appreciate your responses as soon as possible, at your the soonest possible opportunity. I will await you at Castle Wayrest, Helseth, Prince of Wayrest. A little blackmail. Now we're gonna, of course, do a little cheese, because I wanted the lore. I wanted the lore, man. Okay. Let's go on ahead and deliver this letter over to the Ashford Farmstead, I believe it was, is the name of the place. Perfect. You can actually hop through those pillars. The Ashford Farmstead, yes. How far away is it? Hopefully not too far, because we only got 3 days. Take it 1 day. Love to see it. Is it the windmill or is it the house? I'm going to assume it's the house. It is the house. Get my sword out, because they say be prepared. Actually, let's go on and cast a heal. Why not? Okay. Looking for the person we need to deliver this letter to. And get ready to be attacked, because that's what they said. Typically, they're going to be in that closet, but let's check. They could be up on the attic. That's a closet. And then what's this way? There's a closet. You people got a lot of closets, you know that? And it's gonna be this room. Hello, Lord Castellian. You got like the what's that facial hairstyle? Not mutton chops, but like the oh, there was a famous general from World War II that had that kind of a thing. I forget who it was. Not World War II. Did I say World War II? Oh, it was a Civil War. Civil War. I apologize. Okay. Hello, Lord Castellian. Here's a letter. You wait while Lord Castellian reads the letter. His skin grows pale and his hand begins to shake. I see. Please wait while I pen a response to Prince Helseth. It only takes him a minute to write the response, which he then hands to you. Well, Prince continued. Lore. Prince Helseth, I appreciate your kindness, and I will meet you very shortly at your convenience. Lord Castellian. Perfect. Again, is it cheesy? Yeah, but I want the lore. That's why we're doing this series, is the lore, people. The lore. All the lore. Okay, let's go ahead and travel back over here to Castle Wayrest, which is... There we go. I did not want that. I wanted to actually just straight up travel to the town itself. Thank you very much. And what side of town did we come in at? We came in on a somewhat bad, not a horrible side, but it can be quite a little of a bit of a walk over to get to the palace itself. So how long have we been recording? Because both of these quests are kind of short-esque. I actually feel pretty confident because both quests that we've done today are short. To do one more quest in today's episode, and then we'll read King Edward Part 2, as is the book we're reading today. But we do have time for one more quest. The King Edward books are probably going to be the books that are finishing out the end of the game. So for those that don't stick around normally and listen to the books, I'll say this. There's going to be bonus episodes at the end once we're completely done with the game, because we're not going to have enough episodes of the main game itself to have a book at the to finish out everything. We're going to have books left over, so because of that, we're going to have bonus episodes where we'll probably read, I would imagine, 2 to, I would say 3 books maybe each episode, for however many episodes it takes to get all of the books read. And then once all the books are read, there'll be a review episode for Daggerfall out, because I want to make sure I get all everything within the game consumed before I give a review. Does it probably affect the review at all? No, but still, that's what I'm deciding to do. Hey dude, well done, Vasa. Your budding reputation appears to be deserved. Lord Castellian is quite pliable now. Anyway, here is the short shirt I promised. Never let it be said that Prince Helseth is not a man of his bond. Oh yes, I promised to tell you something of the situation in Daggerfall. I suspect my family has more to do with it than is commonly known. We sent advisors to urge King Lysandus and King Cameron to mend their differences on the eve of the Battle of Cringane Field. Lysandus was disgustingly loyal to the Emperor, while Cameron was fighting for more autonomy. According to the advisors' report, they arrived too late because they were waylaid by the orcs of Gortwog en route. However, I have heard stories that at least some of our advisors arrived at Lysandus' tent and spoke to him briefly. At this time, I cannot say more. If I receive more information, or if this situation progresses, I will certainly send you word. Great, a shirt that I'm not going to use. Save here at, you can actually save over, where is main story? Do I not have a main story? Daggerfall main continue. We can save over that is what we can save over, and we can actually mark this quest, which was called Blackmail, as completed. Check and check. And let's see what kind of other quests we can kind of maybe do at the moment, because again, I'm trying to be very particular that we don't miss out on certain books, or not books, certain I'm being careful that we don't miss out on certain quests. I think we talked to everybody in here. Did we talk to you, Lord Darkworth? Okay, and I don't believe I'm probably going to be able to go into those. Did we ever talk to the King and Queen here? I don't think we did. Let's go talk to the King and Queen. Oh, no, because what we did, I remember I said, oh, it's King Edweir and Queen Baronziah, because this was before we were doing the princess quest, and I go, oh, you're the person that screwed my my ability to go and what was the word I'm thinking of, and the Baronziah stones we had to find in Skyrim. Do you know how difficult? Okay, let's actually talk to you now. Hello? Or not? I've never just not been able to talk to somebody before. Do I have to maybe, did something glitch out? Can I actually talk to the person? I've never not been able to talk to an NPC before. Conversate, yeah, let's go to dialogue mode officially. Hello? Interesting. What do you have to say? I could use the services of someone of moderate talent, above average discretion, and willingness to assume the position of a lowly courier for 1,692 gold pieces. Are you that person? Let me quickly check to see if this is a noble quest or if this is a main story quest. Okay, this appears to be just a generic, noble quest. Let's, I guess, go talk to people over here. Do you have anything to say? No, you do not. Do you have anything to say? No, you do not. Well, okay, fair enough. Me help you? Okay, do you have anything to say, Princess? Hello, Vassip. I am Elysana, King Edweir's child and heir apparent to Wayrest. Perhaps you could help me out of a bit of an embarrassing predicament. The senior member of the Elder Council, my father's good friend, Lord Castellian, hey, we were just dealing with him, has left court on holiday, and I forgot to return a cloak I borrowed from him. If it is not too much trouble, if it's not too much of a bore to you, would you mind bringing it to him in Kingsmith Manor? I could offer you a lovely amulet as payment. Let me quickly check to see if this is again, a noble quest or a part of the main story, and if it is part of the main story, that it doesn't affect other quests, so I'll be right back. Okay, it does not. It is part of the main quest, and it appears that it is okay to do. I believe if I were to have done this quest before for example, the last quest we did, it would have bugged something out. So that is, again, why I'm having to be very careful on the quest order I'm choosing in. So yes, we can actually, I believe, if I've understood this correctly, I believe we can do this quest right now. How frightfully nice of you to help a silly girl like myself. Here's the robe now. Here's the robe. Now, it's very important that Lord Castellian has the robe soon. He is at one of his houses, the Hearthton residence in Kingsmith Manor. Lord Castellian shouldn't be too hard to find. Just ask around for him or for the Hearthstone residents and give him the robe. I do really appreciate this, Vassip. It really shouldn't take you longer than 11 days to get to Kingsmith Manor and back, so I'll see you then. Okay, well, let's go ahead and travel to Kingsmith Manor, and this will be the last quest we do in today's episode, no matter how long it takes, even though it's just seems to be a very quick deliver quest. Travel to Kingsmith Manor. Oh, it's going to take a 3 day, I'd say that's a 2 or 3 day travel. It's a 2 day travel. Okay, not too bad. And, oh my god, this is not a big town at all. We're going to have a super easy time finding this residence. In fact, we're going to have such an easy time, we can actually just straight up go to each residence itself, and eventually it'll just pop up on my my map. But while we're here, we can actually just ask you, do you know the location of generally the Hearthstone residence? Northwest. Okay, it's this building. Okay, great. Go in here. And it should be, oh no, it's going to be in this room. And this room, and this room. Okay, first time I've been wrong. Normally that's where that guy is. Oh, you're actually right here. Hello, Lord Castellian. It's nice to see you again. Remember when I delivered you that letter that was obviously not blackmail in the slightest? Here you go. Excuse me? A gift from Lady Elysana? Thank you, Vassip. It fits me like a glove. You feel a tearing sound as if the fabric of reality were being ripped open. That... Oh my god, that... She, like, gave him a cursed rope or something. I'm carrying a dead body. Oh no, god, I'm carrying a dead body, aren't I? Or, no, the dead body just disappeared. Princess Elysana has asked me to bring a robe to the elder member of Wayrest, Elders Council, Lord Castellian, at his manor in Kingsmith Manor, which I did, the Hearthstone residence. I need to be back at Castle Wayrest. Well, I mean, I technically delivered it. It's just that he kind of technically died. So, I guess everything's okay? That was one of the most shocking things. I'm like, oh, it's just gonna be a regular handed-in quest, and no, it was not. It was an assassination mission. Now the real question is, did Princess Elysana know that what I was giving Lord Castellian was like a cursed item that would kill him instantaneously the second it touched his body, or was this a planned thing, or was this an honest mistake? It'll be really interesting. My gut is telling me to be wary of the princess here, because I feel like some shenanigans are afoot, and I've been used as a pawn, and a Vassip does not feel the feeling of being used as a pawn. I am the one that makes the moves, not the one that is moved. Okay, you have some explaining to do, princess. Where you at? Okay, well, first off, let's get off the water feature. Really? And I'm going to take a picture of you as well, because I don't know if I want to use you as a picture for the thumbnail. Thank you. Okay. You have some explaining to do, princess. Oh, how marvelous you are. Here, let me give you the amulet I promised you. I hope Lord Castellian appreciates the extra work I put into the robe. It is a real attention getter. Now, let me give you something more than an amulet, Vassip. My father is very interested in a certain ancient relic called the Totem of Tiber Septim. Interesting. He has spies all over the place looking for it. When they find it, my father will need someone to secure it. Obviously, whoever he chooses will be fabulously well rewarded. I'll give him your name. That is the least I can do. Totem of Tiber Septim. Interesting. You have nothing else to add. Okay. Then what we are going to do is we are going to go ahead and travel over here to the... well, first off, I'm too far away. Let's drop off basically all of this heavy stuff we now have on us, which is not a whole lot of heavy stuff, but enough that it's junk. And head on over to where's the Mages Guild? It's off over that direction. So I'm going to head on over to the Mages Guild to bring King Edward Part 2. So for those that want to stick around and listen to it, they can. But for those that don't, thank you guys so much for watching today's episode of The Elder Scrolls 2 Daggerfall. If you haven't already, go down and hit the subscribe button and the bell notification to stay up to date on when new videos come to the channel. Any important announcements will be made via the community tab, so kind of keep an eye on that for anything like world shattering for news related to the channel. If you guys could go down and hit the thumbs up button, I would appreciate it so much. You guys have no idea how much hitting the thumbs up button helps the channel grow and get recognition with the algorithm and everything. So if you enjoyed the video, then you can take a minute to go down and hit the thumbs up button. I would appreciate it. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next episode. Goodbye. And for those that do want to stick around and listen to King Edward Part 2, I will be back once we find it. King Edward Part 2, Chapter 2, Reunion at First Hold. Edward woke to a red sky. The sun was just peeking over the western mountains. They were nearing a glittering tower, fire flashing from every facet. The dragon veered to fly nearer and shot a long blast of flame. A light flashed several times from the tower's top as they dropped suddenly. Edward's stomach felt very peculiar. He sighed and stirred and felt Morlin shift so that his right arm now held Edward. He stretched and yawned. Not much longer now. It's several days by horse from the Crystal Tower to First Hold, but I judge that Akatosh will have us there within the hour. We're not stopping at the tower, Eric? Do not use that name so lightly, not even to me. The Archmagister will not return for days yet. Unicorns are brothers to the wind and travel as fast, even burdened, but not as fast as dragons fly. You see, the elven homeland at dawn from the back of a dragon. Count yourself fortunate among men. Edward's gaze roamed the deep green woods and rugged hills. There was no sign of habitation. It's lovely, he said politely, but not so beautiful as High Rock. He added out of loyalty and truth, are there no towns or villages or farms? The firstborn lives nestled deep in the tree, and they do not tear up the earth and plant anew, but take gradually what Uriel offers, and make return. Ah, the green smell of growing things. Indeed, the air was as heady as the wine Edward used to sip from his father's cup before I'm hungry. I expect so. A bit of shifting, and Morlin's left hand produced a small leaf-wrapped package. The dusky hand was large and strong, and looked neither human nor animal. Edward stared at it with revulsion, then took the package gingerly so as not to touch the hand. He felt Morlin stiffen, and the hand that held Edward relaxed its grasp a bit. Edward felt ashamed of his reaction. It was neither kind nor wise to give offense in the circumstances. Moorland air was no sign of habitation. It's lovely, he said politely, but not as... Okay, this sometimes happens with the books, is they for some reason repeat. I expected where to the circumstances. Morlin, where is it? Okay, this is actually where it needs to be. Morlin could quite easily drop him overboard. I need to bathe, but so do you, he said stiffly. Morlin was deliberately misinterpreting the reaction. Edward knew. Yes, I'm very dirty. Edward bit into the cake, which proved much better than it looked. My lady's mother used to seeing me like this, at least she used to be, but perhaps I should bathe first. I think you will not be offered that choice. Ah, at last. The dragon spread his wings, sent a huge gout of flame soaring skyward, and dropped to earth in a large clearing. The landing was abrupt and jarring. Elves appeared quite suddenly, and arms reached up to take him, and Shag, who woke at last, ran frantically in circles, and then sat panting at Edward's feet. A tall elf with fiery hair like copper greeted them formally. Greetings, my lord king. Your lady wife awaits you. Prince Edward, I welcome you to the land of the firstborn on behalf of all its people. May your stay here prove pleasant and productive. Morlin nodded deferentially. Thank you, my host. My queen has waited long enough. We will go to her now. Morlin's hand on his shoulder steered Edward toward the largest tree he'd ever seen. The trunk was hollow. Steps inside led up. Openings gave out onto more steps and bridges along and among the mighty branches. They proceeded along these until they reached a large canopied platform, furnished with seats and chests as if it were a room. A golden-skinned woman smiled at them and waved them in, then left. A tall, slender, pale-skinned, dark-haired human woman paced towards them, her eyes on Edward. Only Edward. Why did you leave us? The cry came from deep inside, ringing through him. It stopped her, several paces from him. Now her eyes lifted to Morlin, who said in a harsher tone than Edward had yet heard from him, Thou wilt address thy mother with respect, cub. A glancing blow made his eyes water. Alira crossed quickly to Morland and placed her hand on his chest. "Greeting, my husband. All praise to Notargo for bringing you and my son safely to me. Thank also the Lord of the Dragons and the bandit who could not have lifted the boy more needily himself. The Archmagister had somewhat to do with it as well." Morland's dusky hands came up to hold her bare arms lightly and tenderly. He laughed, looking relaxed and happy, but the hands against his chest formed a barrier as much as a caress. "I am blessed indeed, but it has been long since my son and I have spoken. We may find words more easily if we seek them alone together." Morland's smile vanished instantly. "Are words then a thing which two can find more easily than three? Well, perhaps at times, wife." He turned on his heel and left. The bridges swung and creaked, but his feet made no sound at all. Alira watched after him, but he did not look back. Edward felt again the curious mix of satisfaction and regret that came with giving pain to his enemy. "Edward, my son, come and sit by me." Edward stood where he was. "Madam Mother, I have waited many years and traveled many leagues to have an answer. I will wait no longer, nor go one step further." "What have you been told?" "That you were most treacherously kidnapped by night with the aid of magic, while my father slept, trusting in the honor of his guest." "Your father told you that, and Morland said that you came full willing. I would hear what you say. Would you hear why I left your father, or why I did not take you with me, having chosen to go?" Edward paused, thinking. "Madam, I would hear the truth, therefore I must give the truth. I would hear why you left me behind. The other I think I know, as much as I can or would know, unless you wish to tell me more or other." "The truth? Truth is not a single thing existing apart from those who apprehend it. But I will tell you my truth, and perhaps then you may arrive at your truth." Alira walked back to a softly pillowed chair and composed herself. Nearby, a small ruby-colored bird settled on a branch and trilled an accompaniment to her soft voice. "My parents arranged my marriage, as is the custom of our homeland. I did not love Courier, but in the beginning I respected him and tried to be a good wife. He did not care for me, nor did he take care, and so he lost my respect, and I died a little each day, withering like an untended plant. I was happy only with you, but Courier thought I was making you too soft. Womanish, he said, and so after your 3rd birthday, I was allowed to spend only an hour each day with you. I listened to your cries and sat weeping, without heart for anything. Finally, you ceased crying and asking for me, and my heart was left empty. I formed the habit of walking and riding much of the time alone, save for a guard or two. Then Morland came. He wanted to mine for ebony in the Rothgarian mountains. The land he wanted to use was part of my dowry. He was willing to train our people in the arts of its use and even give them weapons of dark elf making. In return, our people were to aid him in keeping the goblins away and allow him to form a colony of his people in High Rock. Courier had no use for the land, and he wanted the weapon very much indeed. But there are none better, so he favored the proposal. There were many details to be discussed and arranged, and it fell to me to conduct these negotiations. Courier despises dark elves, and he was jealous of Morland, who was already famed as the finest fighter in all of Tamriel. But Morland is more than a skilled fighter. He's well-read and interested in everything under the sun. He sang and played as if taught by Jer, Bree, and Jim Say both. He was a companion such as I'd only dreamed of. That and no more, I swear. We both loved to be outside, so our discussions took place while riding and walking, but always accompanied by his men and Courier. When all was arranged, Courier gave a great feast to celebrate the treaty. All of High Rock nobility came, and many from other provinces. At the end, Courier was deep in his cups, and let fall an insult that could only be washed out in blood. I had long since retired with the other ladies, so I know not what it was, but I'd heard in private to know that Courier had a store of such to choose from. Morland gave the challenge, and gave Courier until noon, that he might recover such wits as he had. Then Morland came to me, alone, in my chamber, and told me what had befallen. "Milady, I think that he will choose your brother as his champion. In any case, there will be a river of blood between us that may not be crossed in this life or any other. I can live without your love, but I would not have your enmity. Come with me now, as wife or honored guest, and you choose, and you shall serve as blood price in a steed for your kith or kin. And there, in the moonlight, in my terror, with my ladies sleeping around me, I knew I loved him. Doubted that I could live without him, and yet I loved you more. My son, I whispered, I can't. Milady, you must choose. I'm sorry. You see, don't you, Edward? If I stayed, it meant my brother's death, his innocent young blood, or your father's, or possibly that of the man I loved. Though I counted that most unlikely, Morland's fighting skills alone were supreme, and in an affair of this sort he would be entitled to call on magic aid as well. We could take him with us, but Morland shook his head sadly. That I will not do. It would go against my honor to part father and son. Leaving love alone, I am trained to duty, Aliera said proudly. Should I have robbed you of your father or your loving uncle, and I thought it unlikely that Courier, should he survive, would somehow blame me for the affair and use it as an excuse to put me away. I thought that Courier would be pleased to have me gone. I knew he wanted the weapon very much. I could trade them for the time with you. I thought. All this passed through my mind while Morland stood waiting, not looking at me. Lady Mara, help me choose wisely, I prayed. You truly want me as wife? I could bring you nothing but trouble. Aliera, I would have you to wife, and I want nothing but yourself. He shed his cloak and wrapped it round my body, pulling the bedclothes away. Morland, wait, is this right? What I do? Milady, if I thought this wrong, I should not be standing here. Of the choices you are given, this one seems to me most right. He swung me up in his arms and carried me to his horse, and so I left your father's house, clad only in his cloak, and riding before him. And wild joy mixed with my sorrow, so that I scarce knew how I felt. That is my truth. Edward said quietly, But he has parted my father and me in the end. With great reluctance, and only because the dragon says that you and your father were in truth already parted in heart. It is only a matter of more leagues, which provide a measure of safety for you. Morland insisted that you should freely consent to coming. You are as free to return any time as you wish. Morland would have just taken me. It was, the Archmagister who insisted that I must consent. He's not a patient man by nature, and he is anxious to do Courier no harm. Doubtless he felt the discussion could be carried on as well elsewhere. He called him King of the Small Cock, and I laughed. He called him King of the Small Cock and laughed. Why? Are Daggerfall cockerels smaller than Ebonheart's birds? And what does it matter anyway? My father was very angry. I think he would have liked to fight. But it's true he hates me. I knew that, but I didn't want to know, so I pretended not to. I suppose Morland would do that? No. It's only a matter of more leagues, which okay, that's another repeating of a thing. He'd lie, though. He thought about telling me he was my father. I could see it. Aliera threw back her head and laughed. Her pretty rippling laugh. I remember it from a long ago, and it sent shivers down his back. He must have wanted to claim it very badly indeed, if he let you see it. He's usually quicker than that, and he does not lie under oath or to hurt those he loves. He doesn't love me. He doesn't even like me. But I do, my dear son. You... Edward thought she was going to say he'd grown. Adults always remarked on his growth, even if he'd just seen them a week ago. Very strange, since he was small for his age. Instead she said, You're just as I thought you'd be, the deep maternal satisfaction. And he loves you. But he said he was no one's errand boy, yet you dismissed him as if he were. Aliera's face and neck burned in a deep crimson. Nay, though, I am reduced to serving man, it seems. Morland had entered silently, bearing a huge tray piled high with food. Get me a stool, boy. You can play page if I can play server. You must be famished, and I thought it'd best to return you to, and I thought it'd be best return before my wife gets round to the rest of my faults. Could take her most of the day, listing them. He'd shed the mail and bathed and dressed in fresh black jerkin and hose with a silvery sash tied round his narrow waist, but the black sword still swung by his side. Mara, help us. You've enough food for a small army, and I've broken my fast. Eliara's small hand reached for the elf's arm, slid down it caressingly, then clasped his hand and squeezed it. Lifting it to her still hot cheek, brushing it with her lips, Edward looked away quickly, discomforted by the sight of his dusky skin against her fairness. This is for me, and a bit for the boy. But pray join us, my dear. You've grown thin, pining for me, no doubt. He wrapped a lock in her dark curly hair around his finger and tugged at it, grinning, then fell on the food like a starving wolf, attacking it with a small silvery weapon instead of eating with his fingers as humans did. The food was wonderful. Edward ate till he could eat no more. Eavesdropping, he murmured thoughtfully. He'd been mulling over a list of Morland's faults while he ate, and realized too late that he'd spoken aloud. By Zenithar, boy, if you humans will shout your privy conversations all over the tree, do you expect me to shut my ears with wool? He tapped one of his larger pointed ears. Edward hurriedly tried to remember what he'd said. Lying. Oh, my dear. Maybe he hadn't heard. So I'm a liar? Am I, boy? Fur, Gil, help him. Edward felt he was drowning. Could the elf read minds? He hoped that wasn't the insult his father had used. I meant I thought that you were thinking about it. You did hesitate. Edward gulped. He was making matters worse. Possibly. I was trying to remember. The sardonic had entered silently, bearing a huge tray piled high with food. Get me a stool, boy, and you can... That's another repeat of text. I was trying to remember. Possibly. I was trying to remember. The sardonic tone was back. You don't even like me, Edward burst out. That doesn't seem to have stopped your true father from claiming you. Morland, don't. Eliara interrupted, but the elf held up his hand to quiet her. I'm not so sure, Edward flashed. Why'd you say that? I don't know, Rowan said. Things, and I'm not like all the... I'm not at all like him. Everyone remarks on it, and then stops talking. What things? Speak, boy. About how fond Mother was of her brother when they were young, how sad and angry he was when she was carried off. More like a lover, she said, than a brother. She says it's very sweetly, but like she means something by it, something too dirty to say. Other times she talks about how elfin I look, and how quickly after marriage I came. Not as quickly as her first son, though. Morland leaped up. By the Avenger, I will go back and wring the vixen's neck, the human. He bit off the insult, but his red eyes flamed rage, his muscles swelled, and his hair stood on end. You do not look half-elven. I never met your mother until 4 years after your conception. Roan, it seems, cannot decide which lie she wishes to use. But incest. May Kell strike her down if I may not. The tall elf paced furiously about the room, lithe as a Khajiit, hand fondling his sword hilt. The platform swayed and dipped. She's ambitious for her sons at Edward's expense. The question is, how many will believe her? Not enough if she was planning to have him killed instead. Eliara's smooth brow wrinkled a bit. I never disliked her, you know, nor she me. She wanted my place, and I was glad enough to let her have it, save for Edward. You want me to be king, so I'll let you have the ebon mines. Edward had just worked out the puzzle. Oh, devil, take the ebon, which he probably will. I've a better chance of getting cooperation from Roan's boys once her father's dead. They'd have reason for gratitude, and the bargain's a good one. Although the chance they could keep a civil tongue long enough to sign a contract seems poor, given the parentage. Then why? You don't even like me? Mara, help me. Liking a person is a human concept. One day they like you, the next day they don't. On Turdus, they're back to liking you again. My own wife does this to me, but claims to love me even when she does not like me. Except, of course, on the days when she doesn't do either, and talks about joining the Order of Rihanna. Fortunately, that only happens once a year or so. I go hunting until she comes to her senses. You exaggerate. That only happened once, and, well, you know it. I remember enjoying the recovery period. Maybe it should have happened more often. They grinned at each other. But why do you want me to be king? Edward persisted. I told you, it's Akatosh's notion, and the Archmagister. I just came for the ride. Ask them. I shall ask the Archmagister when I see him. An excellent plan. You'll spend a few weeks at the tower before heading north with us. Only that... Does Does the prospect of spending the winter with your mother and me displease you so much? No, no, sir, but I agreed to go with Eric, not you. The words hung unsaid between them. You will in time. A few weeks there now will fit you to begin your training in magic. I can teach you spells, but you need hardening. Your body must catch up to your mind. It is the Archmagister's will. Fighting magic? I want to learn other things, how to call beasts, how to heal and float. You'll learn that, I doubt not. And do you think a fighter can't heal? It's the first spell you'll learn, but a king must know how to fight. I'm not good at it. Dragon's teeth, boy, exactly why you must learn. If I cannot, you've courage and a clear head and the potential to learn magic. That's more than most people ever have. I can teach you the rest. Edward's head whirled with the unaccustomed praise. I do? I have? You can? Do you think any of your father's full court would stand naked before a dragon, a unicorn, the Archmagister, and the champion of Tamriel and demand justice of them? Justice. Faced with such, they might have managed to beg for mercy if they could speak at all, which is doubtful. I did that? I did, didn't I? Edward was astonished. He wanted to add that he hadn't thought about it. Aye, you did, and it's a deed shall be sung from here to Morrowind. I'll compose the ballad myself, as soon as I have a nap. I don't sleep as sound as some on dragons' backs. You enchanted me in shack asleep, and the rest of the castle with the help of my friends. Oh, can you levitate? Will you show me? Not so fast. I kept a holding spell on us all night to keep us on the dragon's back. Until I'm rested, I couldn't light a candle with the aid of a match. Oh, well, I'd still rather be like the Archmagister than be a fighter. Ha! It'll be news to the Archmagister when he cannot fight. I hope he'll find time to show you how to wield a staff. No better weapon for early training, and no better trainer. Now, of the four you saw before you, which would you say could beat the others? Or sorry, which one of you could say best the others? Edward thought carefully for several minutes. Sir, my judgment is poor indeed. But if you would still have my answer, it would seem that the one who claims the title Champion of Tamriel must be the best, yet must not be the Archmagister. Be your master in magic, and trained at arms as well, it seems. So, which should prevail? Could any mortal stand against the dragon's fire and claws and teeth? And I know naught of the unicorn, save that it is fleet and has a sharp horn and hooves as well. So I will guess the unicorn. It had the mildest manner, and since you asked the question, it seems the unlikely answer may be correct. Well answered, youngling. The unicorn would win easily in any single close combat. No mortal or even dragon can move quickly enough to land a blow, and it cannot be burned or touched by any magic or elemental power. Its hooves are deadly, and a single touch of its horn will kill any enemy, although the horn itself will burn away. The most powerful can regenerate it within moments, however. And of the four, the champion of Tamriel would probably be the loser against any of the others, although the title is no idle boast. Morrowind is not accustomed to being so outclassed. My manners may have suffered in consequence. My Lord King, I am most deeply in your debt. You have done me great honor and service. If ever I can repay you, I will. Forgive my brash words and ill manners. I have dwelt among the rude and boorish, and it seems I have no father, unless I may call you so. The elf held his hand out to the boy, who placed his own in them. Edward's feelings of distaste was quite gone, as if by magic. The thought drifted through his mind, and then he released his hands and clasped Morland's about his waist. The elf's hands stroked the dark hair and clasped the thin shoulders. I thank you, my wife. After only 5 years of marriage, you have presented me with a fine son, 9 years of age, remarkable, in fact, magical. And that was a very lengthy, and sometimes repeated, King Edward Part 2. So for those of you that stuck around and listened to that entire thing, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next episode. Goodbye.